with my co-host, Celestina, Clever, and our first guest as a team, AbiolaChamp.
Great.
So how are you, Abiola?
I'm well, great to be here. I mean, I like the fact that I'm the first guest as a team. I'm a teams person, and I like this, that I'm coming first on the team show for DMD show.
Amazing. So tell us how you coping, how you find it with COVID-19, thing happening in the world, how you finding it? It's the perfect time for you to, to start again, re-strategize, do your planning, or it's perfect time for you to bond with family?
Well, so prior to COVID, we had great plans, something we were putting together in Champ. We were working towards the launch of our new book, which was supposed to be a new conversation for us and to extend it into Nigeria and across Africa, and from there across the globe. Then COVID hit, that we had to hold back on the plan. And so immediately again, we had to start to to put things in place to be there for people, because our business is always about people, whether you're talking about the clients, you're talking about the vendors, you're talking about even the general public. So immediately we started putting things together to help people survive in COVID. And one of such things we did was to put together a communication material on how to deal with anxiety in the wake of COVID-19. A lot of people were panicking and there was anxiety in the land, across the globe. So we put that communication material together with the help of social media. We're able to reach over 1 million people with that communication material.
Amazing. So that means COVID was a perfect time for you to, to have a new plan for your business.
Yes, perfect time for us to give.
Amazing.
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us, when did your career as a coach start?
Okay.
Tell us about the journey so far.
It's always about the desire from an understanding that the human potential is unlimited. And it's seeking to ensure that I do as much as I can to help to, unlock the potential of every human being that comes across to me. I was the kind of person you could describe as being multi-talented, but I realized early that you can be multi-talented and multi-confused at the same time. Because you have a lot that you think you can do, and you always have limited time to do it. You always have limited time to do it. So I was searching for meaning that, okay, so I have these gifts, what am I supposed to do with them? And by the way I describe a gift is not necessarily just the GIFT English word. It's an acronym for me. I see it as God's investment for a task. For as many people that believe that they are created by God, whatever talent you have, I just believe that it's an investment from divinity, for you to perform a task to make life better for other people. So in my search for meaning, that's when I realized that, okay, the reason I'm this gifted is to be able to use all of this to help people to know better so that they can think better and then they can do better. Doing better is the place of performance, right? Thinking better is what goes on the inside of the person. Yeah. Knowledge helps to shape our thinking, and then it helps to shape our behavior. So fast forward into many careers, I went into health insurance to work. From there went into banking to work. From there, went into IT, where I finally resigned as a senior manager. And then on the 1st of December, 2012, I embarked on the lifetime journey, of serving as a coach. Even as at then, I wasn't calling myself a coach. I just knew that I needed to activate human potential.
What do you think might have been problematic, or behavior characteristics that you might have had when you were younger that might have been problematic for you or even people around you that you can now look back on and say, actually, that was a strength?
So 2 things. One is communication, right? Now, there's something about having communication skills, or there's something about a strength, let me say. Now, a strength, when a strength is stretched beyond its usefulness, it becomes a weakness. So for me, back in the day in high school, because I could talk well, and I actually developed that talking well. And how I developed the talking well, I remember I would just be in the church on Sunday, then the pastor would say, who has a testimonial? And somehow we see my hand go up, and I'll be wondering, how did this hand go up, right? Before the hand went up, I did not have an idea of what exactly to say, what not to say. Then, and then they'll say, oh, ladies and gentlemen, please, let's welcome Brother Abiola. Then everybody claps, and I'll think, oh my goodness. Anyway, so I will summon courage and stand up and go to the front. while I'm going to the front, there are voices in my head telling me that now you will disgrace yourself today. Now, you don't even know what you would say when you get there. Remember that girl, that cute girl, you know, in your class, she's in church today. So she will see you, how you would mess up on stage. I mean, all of those will be going through in my head. Then I'll get to the front, you know, shaking. I'll say, praise the Lord, church. They say hallelujah. I say, I want to thank God for my father, for my mother, for my siblings, for the church, for the country. Praise the Lord. And then everybody will clap. Then I'll go and sit down. On my way to my seat again, the voice is, you see, you have finally disgraced yourself. You didn't pronounce this word well. You were shaking. You almost peed in your pants and all of that voice. But I'll just tell myself that, you know what? I've gone there to do it, right? What I will do is I will make sure I don't try it again. The next Sunday, when there's another call again, I will see. And then that happened again and again. So gradually, I started developing confidence, right? And gradually, I started using that confidence to bully, right? So I will be in school, and then, I wasn't the class captain. Because I could talk now, I could stand in my class and then say something to my classmates and sway them to my side, and then they would not answer the class captain. So it was so bad that the class captain had to develop friendship with me so that anything he wants to get done, he gets it done through me. Now, I was just a child. You know, I didn't know. For me, I was just having fun. I didn't know I was hurting anybody. You know, I didn't know that this skill is working this way. I was just there. I was just a child. So that courage, you know, somebody said that courage is not the absence of fear, but the will to continue in spite of the fear. That courage, you know, to still stand up and go, despite that I was trepidated, right, was a great thing that I now see in my older age as a strength. Yeah. That communication skill that I was using to bully, right? If you read my book, Get Mad, I talked about being an instrument of peace, right? I was using that communication skill as an instrument of destruction and strife and division, right? That same skill, that realizing that it is power, that not everybody has it, right? And then, so if you have it, choose to use it to direct people correctly. Choose to use it to inspire people. Choose to use it to acknowledge people, to celebrate people, you know, to direct people, to help people, to guide people, you know, and that is one very, very important skill that I remember. And speaking of courage, that courage also led me. I lost my dad. I wasn't so much of a child again. I was 19, but still a child, by the way. Yeah. You know, and I was 19. And I lost my dad. And so I'd gone for a dress rehearsal for a big drama production we were doing. So I'd gone for this dress rehearsal on a Thursday evening. The venue of the dress rehearsal was close to my house as at that time. And so at about 10 p.m., right, I saw my brother running across from the house. It was 10 p.m. We're all youngsters, we're all in our teens. So boys and girls outside chilling, you know, having fun, just waiting for the time for rehearsal to start. Then I saw him run across and he said, so my dad was asthmatic. Then he said my dad was gasping for breath, that he wanted to go get a Ventolin. So I had to follow him home. Because it was already late. So we took my dad in the company of my mom. So all four of us went to the clinic, right? At least there should be first aid. One of the things that should be there should be methylated spirits. There should be cotton wool. There should be Ventolin. I'm not a medical doctor, but just common sense, you know, says all of that should be there. So we took him to the clinic. At the entrance of the clinic, when we got there, the gate was shut. So we got there, we knocked. The nurse on duty said she had closed, that she doesn't have time for us. Please, this is a clinic, right? Clinic, hospital, health care center, not a grocery store, you know. So she said she had closed. There is nothing we did not do to convince this lady that we have an emergency. But she wasn't willing to listen to us until my dad, I remember, held on to the gate and gave up at that point. He died right there by the gate. You know, my mom screamed. So it's that scream that made the nurse to come outside to us to attend to us. So we got there with a man that walked to the gate, but we carried in a corpse into the clinic. That was one of the time. That was the time my life totally changed because I'm the firstborn. There were no phones that time. This was 2001. So there was no way to even contact the people I left. There was no way for them to contact me. They just knew that I disappeared, which is not in my regular character. So the following day, I went back to the venue to let them know what happened the previous night. And then, of course, as usual, many people started coming to our house, to cry, to wail, to commiserate with us. And so remember, it was a dress rehearsal and we had a production Friday evening. So I left the house, went to the drama venue, played the piano, played my role, did everything I was supposed to do. Then I went back home. The following day was the biggest day, was the bigger day, full-fledged 3-hour drama. So stage drama, stage play. So again, I went there, played all my roles. When I finished, I went back. Now, if you were in that audience, whether on Friday or on Saturday, you will not know that the guy that is acting on stage, I played a major role on day 2, by the way. You will not know that the guy that was acting on stage just lost his father. Now, that's his father, that's his senior brother, that's the guy that was paying his school fees.
So, you're very brave. For the fact that you even lost your dad and you still went along for the rehearsal, you're very brave. A lot of people will just cut it off, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, give up. Yeah, absolutely.
You still went for, the rehearsal. Well done.
Yeah, my next question is quite linked to the one that you was talking about, because you were talking about communication and why it's so important for you and how you developed it and you realize the strength of it. So as a coach, how do you help your mentees develop their communication skills in the career path that they want to go into?
I've always believed that communication is the language of leadership. Communication is the language of leadership for any one leader to influence anybody. And by leadership, I'm not necessarily talking about somebody in the position, right? But I'm talking about anyone who has a responsibility to lead, even personal responsibility. So communication is the language of leadership. And communication is not just about speaking. Communication is about listening. It's about thinking and then speaking or not speaking. In my opinion, and based on my experience, communication is first about listening. I believe that the reason we have 2 ears is so that we can listen more than we speak. So we use this more than we use this. But hey, you and I know that there are a number of people that despite that they have 2 of this, and they have, this could be even really small. It may not be as wide as mine. It may be really small, but they use it as though this is the only organ that they have. Talk every time. So the beginning of understanding communication is knowing that it starts with listening, using this, then processing it, and then before coming out. And we can see communication in 3 ways. Experts will say that there are 3 aspects of communication, which is verbal, visual, and vocal. Verbal is what we say, the words that we use, which is what most people concentrate on. Experts will tell us that the words we speak only account for 7% of effective communication. The second part is vocal. Vocal is how we say what we are saying, the tone, the pitch, right? The rate at which we are saying it. That's vocal. The third one is visual. Visual is what people see when we are talking. Now, you realize that as I'm talking to you, I'm gesticulating a lot. And I'm doing this a lot, especially because we're on Zoom and this will go on TV. So there are some people that may not hear me clearly what I'm saying. Again, the people that may not hear me clearly what I'm saying, but because they cannot hear me, they can only see me. It doesn't mean they shouldn't really fully understand or comprehend the message. Did you get what I just did right now? Okay. Now, because communication is all of that. Body language is very important. So it is said that 7% of our communication is verbal, 38% is for vocal, 55% is visual, meaning I may not say anything and I'm saying a whole lot.
Wow. That was incredible. Yeah. Really, very, very, very interesting. And my question is obviously, like you've been saying that you really wanted to talk about coaching as well. And I really want to know a bit more about that. Just like you said, we're living in a generation where people, they'll have a revelation today. They wake up the next day, then they want to become a coach without a proper examination or proper training, and some of them are getting into it without, with the wrong reasons. You see, so my question is, why did you in particular wanted to become a life coach, or did you just walk into it without even realizing it?
Now, I didn't want to be a life coach. I didn't even know about life coaching. I just wanted to help people to know better so that they can think better and do better. Right? That was it. So coaching just helped me to formalize it. And it gives me a framework on how to work with clients to find their own answers, right? To find their own answers. Now, in 2012, when I started the journey, I didn't present myself as a coach. Even many players in the industry, and I'll call that industry the human potential industry, there are different names for describing the craft. Some will say they're a trainer, some will say they are motivational speakers, some will say they are public speakers, some will say they are consultants, some will say they are counselors, some will say they are advisor, right? But the commonality of all of this is that it is all about unleashing human potential. And by extension, unleashing business and leadership potential. Now, coaching is one of the interventions for unleashing human potential. And there is also counseling, there's also training, there's mentoring, there's consulting, right? However, coaching is fast gaining more ground because the world is demanding a different set of skills. Now, although these days, like we have said, many people come out with the name coach because it sounds really cool, or it commands some respect or status. Now, some interpret coaching through the lens of their primary profession, some through their ethnicity, some through their culture. While other people even think that coaching is a retirement plan. So if you're a youngster, right, and then you're talking about coaching, then there's this old guard that is wondering, what experience do you have? What do you know? They are saying coaching. You actually don't need to know anything about the profession of your client for you to be a successful coach. You only need to understand the framework of coaching, right? You only need to have been trained to be a coach, right? But again, the biggest barrier to your success as a coach could actually be your professional experience. Because you are not meant to give the individual the answer. You're supposed to work with the individual to find the answers. You see, the best of parents are coaches. The best of parents are coaches. I didn't say the best of coaches are parents. I'm saying that the best of parents are coaches. In that, for some of us, right, growing up, our parents didn't necessarily always give us the answer. They won't necessarily tell you, this is green, this is red, no. They will guide you and help you to finding the answers. Because when you find the answers yourself, the knowledge is more permanent than when somebody tells you. Even the best of teachers as well are coaches, right? I didn't say the best of coaches are teachers. Again, the best of teachers are coaches. Because so whether it's a professor in a university, a teacher in high school, will not necessarily always start by telling you what the formula is. Will start by guiding you, leading you into finding that answer. And that is what coaching is about. So when you have tons of years of experience, that could be the biggest barrier to your coaching, because you approach a client and you approach people like you are all knowing. And I see this a lot, I'm relating with some people who are senior to me, in age and in experience. And then they look at me like, what do you know? And of course, I don't go about trying to prove a point that I know anything. But by the time you find the solution, you know where to come to. And it's always interesting to see that switch, to see people switch from the way we call it colloquially in Nigeria is carrying shoulder, right? When you see people carrying shoulder, and then you just see that switch, the way they switch, they become very humble, and teachable. And you don't have to be proud. No matter what you have, you don't have to be proud. And so coaching is about using this more and using this less.
Very wise, man. I really love that, and I really love that about you. And we're talking about a lot of different things. And one of the things that I also want to know, obviously, as you said, live coaching obviously is different than what we know. And I really want to know, like, what do you think what makes you different than other live coaches who's doing the same thing as you?
So many times, clients talk about my communication skills. They also talk about how they find it easy, how there's this aura created for them to be easy, right, to share and to talk, how it's a safe environment. And I think this is enshrined in two skills. The first skill is communication skill. Remember, it begins with listening, right? And then thinking, and then before saying anything, right? Because as an individual, there's nobody that has more expertise about your life than yourself. So with that thought that I don't have more expertise about your life than you, my role is to first listen to you, think about what you are saying. Even when I want to speak to you, I am not necessarily suggesting or recommending anything first to you. I'm probing more to see you bring out some more, and then to now point you towards what it is that you're supposed to do. Right? That's the communication. The other one is on emotional intelligence, right? It's on emotional intelligence. There are times that there are clients who will enter the session like this, you know, and you don't want to match pride for pride. No. The other person is proud. You are humble. And humility doesn't mean that you are shy. Humility doesn't mean that you don't believe in yourself. Humility means that you are confident, but you're under control. Humility says that you have power, but you're under control. That's why one of the most important lever in any vehicle is the brakes, not the accelerator. It's the fact that it has brakes. So if they tell you that, oh, the speed of this car, you know, is turbo X, you know, it can run from here to wherever within a few seconds. Oh, great. But that's not the greatest thing about the car. The greatest thing about that car is the fact that it can come to a halt. These are the things that clients have said to me. And these are people who have engaged with other people as well. Who say, oh, how come you are different? Then I'm always curious. Okay, how can you explain this difference? There's this sense of humility. You know, you don't slam your degrees in our faces. You don't slam the kind of education you've received from whichever school you've attended, you know, on our face. And then after a while, some that didn't check my website before will go on my website, you know, AbiolaChamp.com. And then they come back and go, wow, you mean you did this and you did that? I said, well, yes, I did. How come you didn't tell me? I said, it was not necessary for this problem we're trying to solve. If it is necessary, I will bring it up.
Amazing.
So the topic we've got today is around society and, of course, what you do. Society seems to take westernized knowledge and beauty as gospel, as, you know, this is what we should be, which, you know, can be damaging. It also has its positive effect, but it can also be damaging. Yeah. What are your thoughts and what is your advice for people to be able to strike a balance with this?
In society as a whole, and by the society, I'm talking about the world, right? There are many great things about every culture. And there are other practices in different cultures that are not so good to move the culture forward. What we're supposed to do as a people is that we look for great things that will advance us. It will give us advancement. It will make us also stay grounded. Those two things are very important. Advancing, we talk about civilization. So we experience a lot of civilization without being grounded. So because we experience a lot of civilization, the social media, then we are not disciplined in the way we use the social media, right? So the discipline is the character bit, right? The presence of social media is the advancement bit. So we should always look for what will advance us and will make us stay grounded, you know, at the same time. So I can choose from British culture, right? Why I should dress well, right? Have dress in the style, dress in British style, by the way, so that I look a particular way to the people that I'm trying to appeal to. I should also pick my cultural African values, right? Of, yes, mutual respect, right? Of, you know, of duty to family, of some of those things, right? I should also choose diligence, right? I should look at Asia and see how they work and they can outwork you. Those guys can outwork you any day, anytime, and pick their work ethic and use it for myself. Look at America and see how they use the media, you know, to rule the world, right? And then because of the craft or whatever it is I'm doing, how do I borrow from that, you know, and spread the greatness in me around? So I think the best of humans are those who know how to sift. The word is sift, S-I-F-T. Are those who know how to sift. You know, you take the great part, not because it is comfortable, that's another thing, but because you know it will make you stay grounded, because you know it is sustainable. Not about what is comfortable, it's about what is sustainable. So our choice on westernized, on non-westernized is it sustainable or is it just comfortable? I will always pick sustainability above comfortable.
So before we go, what advice do you have for the viewers? What do you have to say to the viewers watching today in regards to the topic or in regards to coaching? You know, the viewers looking up to, you know, to be a coach one day.
So on those who aspire to be coaches, it's a great thing to do, but make sure the focus is not on you. It is never about you. It is always about the people. And for other people, even if you're not aspiring to be a coach, whatever you're doing, it is never about you. It is always, always, always about the people. It's always about the customers if you're running the business, right? It's always about the other people. It's always about the public if you're a public office holder. You know, it's never about you. The spotlight is not on you. In fact, the reason you will be a star is not because you are calling yourself one. It's because those who are serving have been well served, and then they think that you deserve some accolades, right? So that's the way to go for the coaches. For everybody in general, what I've said now applies to you as well. That whatever you do, make it about people. It's about service. Make it about people. When you make it about people, whether what you're looking for is fame, whether what you're looking for is wealth, it comes back to you. But when you put the fame and wealth in front, you may crash land. But when you put service in front, genuine service in front, those things are wealth, fame is a consequence. You know, it's a consequence of an action. So your action shouldn't be about pursuing them. Your action should be about pursuing service, and those things will come. If the focus is service, everything will come to you. And also, as a general rule, is that we should not allow anybody to make us feel inferior. Whether you are male or female, don't allow any other female to make you think that you're inferior because she's saying to you that she's more beautiful than you, or because she's richer than you, right? Or because she's a better placed than you. If whoever you are, whether you are black or you are white, don't let a white person make you feel inferior, right? Even if you are white, you can still feel inferior in your skin. So someone that said that no one can make you feel inferior without your consent.
Yeah.
Now, that consent is not about you fighting that, no, I'm not who you say I am. It is about you living and behaving in a way that shows that you are not that thing the person is calling you.
Thank you so much. It was lovely, lovely having you today.
Thank you.
Before we go, where can the viewers find you?
Okay, so everywhere on social media is AbiolaChamp, AbiolaChamp. So follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube page. There are amazing videos every now and then that you would like. You can also go to my website, it's AbiolaChamp.com. I talked about the mentoring program going on. It's virtual and it's global. So wherever you are in the world, whether you're in Asia, you're in Africa, you're in Europe, you're in America, we are trained and we are positioned, you know, to serve you. We have trainings from the best schools in the world. So we are here to serve you anywhere you are in the world. So just log on, follow, and you'll be glad following.
No, I just have thank you for your knowledge. Thank you for your advice. And thank you for being with us today. It's been nice meeting you. And thank you for coming on today, AbiolaChamp.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Christina.
Yeah, thank you very much. You're very, very wise, man. And I really appreciate that about you. So thank you very much for all the information that you have given us today. And I'm definitely, the viewers are blessed by everything that you have said. So thank you, and continue doing what you're doing to bless many other people. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're indeed amazing. Like I said, your mind is very rich. You have so much to give. Well done. And keep
Thank you.
Thank you, AbiolaChamp, for joining us on the show today. So this is all we have for you today. For everyone watching, we really hope you've enjoyed the show. Until next time, bye for now.